Have you ever felt like you were running full speed towards something, only to find that the doors you were pushing on remained firmly closed? We live in a culture that prizes immediacy, fast results, instant gratification, and the illusion that our timetable should dictate the rhythm of life. But here's the truth. God does not operate according to our clock. He moves according to a wisdom that transcends our understanding, orchestrating shifts that align with the fullness of our lives, not just the urgency of our desires. When God begins to shift things for you, it may not look like a dramatic opening overnight. Often, it feels like waiting, like being suspended in a space where nothing seems to happen. And yet, that waiting is intentional. It is preparation, calibration, and refinement happening behind the scenes. Psychologically, human beings are wired to crave certainty. We want to know the path, the outcome, the timeline. But this desire for control can blind us to the subtle ways life is rearranging itself in our favor. Philosophically, we are confronted with the reality that time itself is relative. Our perception of it is deeply personal, yet the universe, or in this case, God, operates on a scale far beyond our comprehension. What seems like delay is often acceleration in disguise. Every pause, every moment of stillness is designed to strengthen your character, expand your perspective, and prepare you to receive what is coming with wisdom and grace. When God shifts things in your life, it is rarely chaotic. It is precise. Like the tides, there is a rhythm to his movement. Things are being repositioned in ways that you cannot yet perceive. Perhaps a relationship is ending, not because you failed, but because a new connection is being arranged that will more perfectly align with your purpose. Perhaps a career door remains closed, not as a punishment, but as a protection, keeping you from paths that are misaligned with your highest calling. The key is to trust the unseen mechanics of this divine orchestration. Faith, in this context, is not passive. It is a dynamic engagement, a conscious choice to believe that the pause is meaningful, that the wait is sacred, and that the shift is inevitable. Consider for a moment the inner work that happens during these seasons. Patience, resilience, and discernment are not abstract virtues. They are the very muscles you develop when you surrender to divine timing. Every moment of waiting is an opportunity to refine your mind, to purify your intentions, and to align your actions with what is truly meaningful. In this way, God's timing is not just about the external events in your life. It is about the internal transformation that makes you capable of handling what is coming. You are being prepared, not just for what you want, but for what you need. So when life seems stagnant, when doors remain closed and plans stall, remember this: God is shifting things for you. He is aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities in ways that will unfold with perfect precision when the time is right. Your task is not to rush, resist, or despair. Your task is to trust, to remain vigilant in faith, and to use this time to strengthen the foundation on which your future will rest. The moment you embrace this truth, a profound freedom emerges. You no longer measure life by what happens now, but by the trajectory of God's design. You learn to walk in patience without frustration, to act without anxiety, and to hope without wavering. And in that space, the shifts God is making become not a source of fear, but a source of power, clarity, and divine alignment. So remember this: the doors that remain closed today are not the end of your journey. They are the very evidence that God is arranging the next stage of your life with intentional care. Trust the timing, embrace the pause, and prepare yourself, because what is coming will be exactly what you were made for. Life has a way of confronting us with obstacles that seem, at first glance, like interruptions or setbacks. A door slams shut, a plan unravels, a relationship fractures, and instinctively we resist. We ask, Why is this happening to me? Or what did I do wrong? But what if these apparent obstacles are not punishments or mistakes, but intentional realignments orchestrated by God? What if the friction, the resistance, and the unexpected detours are the very mechanisms through which your life is being repositioned for greater fulfillment? Psychologically, human beings are wired to interpret disruption as failure. Our minds instinctively seek patterns of control and predictability. Yet, from a philosophical and spiritual perspective, disruption can be seen as a signal, a moment in which life is redirecting your trajectory toward a more meaningful path. Just as a river carves its way around rocks to reach the ocean, your journey often needs to bend around obstacles to reach the destiny God has designed. Obstacles, then, are not barriers. They are signposts, indicators that something needs to shift, something needs to be released, and something new is being prepared for you. When we encounter difficulty, it is tempting to cling to what we know, to cling to what feels safe, or to push harder against the barrier. But resistance often prolongs the struggle. Realignment requires a different posture, observation, discernment, and surrender. Ask yourself, is this obstacle pushing me toward growth, toward clarity, toward better alignment with my purpose? Often the answer is yes. Life is rarely cruel in its interruptions. It is precise, and it has a rhythm designed to guide us. The very things that appear to obstruct us are frequently the instruments of our awakening. Consider the philosophical depth of this. Every setback carries within it the seeds of insight. When a relationship ends, perhaps it reveals who you are and what you truly need. When a career path falters, perhaps it clarifies your calling and refines your skills. When financial strain arises, perhaps it cultivates resourcefulness, discipline, and trust in God's provision. Each obstacle has a dual purpose. It teaches and it redirects. And the beauty lies in this. The redirection is always toward a higher alignment, a better fit for the unique life God has envisioned for you. Psychologically, embracing this perspective transforms the way we experience hardship. Instead of bitterness, frustration, or fear, we cultivate patience, resilience, and insight. We begin to see that the timing of events is never random, and the presence of challenges is never arbitrary. Every difficult circumstance is a nudge, a subtle pivot designed to align your life with the fullness of God's plan. And while you cannot always control the obstacles themselves, you can control your response, your interpretation, and your willingness to allow them to teach you. So when a door closes, a plan fails, or life seems to resist you, understand this: God is not punishing you. He is realigning you. He is preparing your environment, your mind, and your heart for a future that is not only attainable, but divinely perfect. The friction you feel, the struggle you endure, the pain you encounter, they are not signs that you are off course. They are signs that a shift is underway, a correction is happening, and a higher purpose is emerging. The moment you begin to see obstacles in this light, a transformation occurs. Life stops being a series of random hardships and begins to appear as a precise orchestration where every challenge, delay, and detour is a building block of your ultimate fulfillment. Your task is not to avoid obstacles or to lament them. Your task is to discern their lesson, embrace their guidance, and move forward with clarity and courage. So remember this: the obstacles in your path are not roadblocks. They are divine recalibrations. Trust them, learn from them, let them guide you into alignment with the life God is shifting into place for you. And in that awareness, you will find not frustration, but purpose, not despair, but direction, and not delay, but a deliberate unfolding of destiny. One of the most challenging truths we encounter on this journey is that holding on too tightly can prevent us from moving forward. Human nature is drawn to security, to familiarity, to the comfort of what we know. We cling to relationships, to jobs, to habits, even to dreams that no longer serve us, because letting go feels like a loss, and loss by nature is uncomfortable. Yet spiritually and philosophically, the act of release is not emptiness, it is preparation. Letting go is the prerequisite for receiving what God has already positioned for you, often in ways you cannot yet perceive. Psychologically, attachment can be both a source of stability and a source of limitation. We attach not only to people and possessions, but to identities, to ideas about who we are and who we should be. And when change arises, when God begins to shift circumstances, our minds resist. We fear the unknown. We fear that what we release may never return. But here is the paradox. What is meant for you will not be lost. Letting go does not mean failure. It means alignment. It is an act of faith that the divine intelligence governing your life is orchestrating something greater than your imagination. Philosophically, letting go is an acknowledgement of the flow of life. It is the recognition that control is often an illusion, that life is not merely a sequence of our actions and desires, but a complex interplay of forces, choices, and divine timing. Every time you release something, you create a space, a vacuum into which God can place the next blessing. Without letting go, you remain cluttered with the old, the irrelevant, or the incomplete. And in that clutter, the fullness of your purpose cannot manifest. Consider how this plays out in real terms. Perhaps a relationship has been draining rather than uplifting. Perhaps a career has been stagnant rather than fulfilling. Perhaps a belief or pattern of thought has kept you confined rather than expanded. When God begins to shift things in your life, these situations often begin to unravel. Doors close, opportunities fade, connections change. At first, it feels like disruption, but in truth, this is the preparation stage. By letting go of the old, you make room for something more aligned, more purposeful, and more transformative. Spiritually, this is an act of trust. It requires courage to step into uncertainty, to release control, and to embrace the unseen. Yet, when you do, you participate in a principle as old as life itself. Growth requires shedding the unnecessary. The trees that bear fruit do not cling to dead branches. They prune, they release, and only then can new life emerge. In the same way, every release in your life is an invitation to growth, to abundance, and to fulfillment. This process is rarely instantaneous, and it is rarely easy, but it is deliberate. The blessings that follow are not random. They are the natural result of space being created for the right things to enter your life. By surrendering what no longer serves you, you align with God's greater vision, and you open the door to experiences, people, and opportunities that will elevate you in ways you cannot yet imagine. So when you feel the pull to release, do not resist. Trust that God is shifting things in your favor. Release with intention, with faith, and with gratitude. Recognize that letting go is not a loss. It is an investment in your future, in your purpose, and in the life God is orchestrating for you. Remember this, the act of letting go is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your elevation. When you release what no longer fits, you make space for the divine blessings that are already on their way. Step into that space and step into the life God has been preparing for you. Transitions are inherently uncertain. When God is shifting things in your life, the old patterns dissolve and the new ones have not yet fully emerged. This space between the familiar and the future can feel disorienting, even uncomfortable. Yet it is precisely in these moments that faith and gratitude become indispensable. Psychologically, uncertainty tends to trigger anxiety. Our minds crave control, predictability, and immediate outcomes. But spiritually, the periods of transition are when your inner capacities, resilience, patience, discernment, are most profoundly cultivated. Faith and gratitude are not mere feel-good concepts. They are practical tools that help you navigate the liminal space where transformation occurs. Faith, in this context, is not passive hope. It is an active acknowledgement that the forces shaping your life are purposeful, that the shifts taking place are not arbitrary, and that God is orchestrating events according to a wisdom far beyond what you can perceive. It is the confidence to move forward even when the path is not fully visible, and the courage to act with integrity, knowing that every step is being guided. Faith reframes the unknown from a source of fear into a canvas of potential. It allows you to approach the transitions in your life with clarity rather than confusion, with trust rather than resistance. Gratitude works hand in hand with faith. By focusing on what you already have, the lessons learned, the relationships nurtured, the opportunities experienced. You create a mindset that is receptive rather than resistant. Gratitude does not ignore difficulty. It recognizes the growth inherent in struggle. Philosophically, it transforms your perspective from scarcity to abundance, reminding you that even in the midst of change, you are never truly without resources, support, or divine guidance. When you practice gratitude during periods of transition, you are actively aligning yourself with the positive currents of life, making it easier for God's shifts to manifest fully. Consider the psychological principle behind this. What we focus on expands. Anxiety magnifies obstacles. Fear amplifies uncertainty. Gratitude and faith, however, draw your attention to alignment and possibility. They create a feedback loop that enhances clarity, fortifies patience, and cultivates resilience. You begin to see the subtle signs that God is at work. The doors opening quietly, the people arriving at just the right moment, the opportunities that surface when least expected. These are confirmations, reminders that even in the pause, the shift is real and intentional. Transitions are also philosophical invitations to presence. In a culture that prizes outcome over process, it is easy to overlook the spiritual and psychological richness of the in-between moments. Yet it is precisely here that character is refined, values are clarified, and purpose becomes visible. Faith allows you to see beyond immediate discomfort. Gratitude keeps your heart open and your mind attuned to the blessings already unfolding. Together, they transform uncertainty into a sacred space for growth, insight, and alignment with God's plan. So, as you navigate the shifts God is orchestrating, do not be discouraged by the unknown. Lean into faith with confidence and anchor yourself in gratitude for the journey itself. Recognize that each challenge, each pause, each unexpected turn is an invitation to deepen your trust, strengthen your resilience, and sharpen your discernment. The more you engage these practices intentionally, the more you will find that transitions are not voids or interruptions, but deliberate stages in a carefully orchestrated process of elevation. Remember this, faith and gratitude are not passive states. They are active instruments of alignment. They allow you to move through change with courage, clarity, and hope. When you cultivate them during transitions, you do more than survive the shift. You embrace it. And in that embrace, you position yourself fully to receive the life, the purpose, and the blessings that God has been preparing for you all along.